Hi, and welcome to the Art of Film Funding. I'm your co-host, Claire Papin, along with writer-producer Carol Dean, author of the best-selling book, The Art of Film Funding, and host of this show. Carol is the president of From the Heart Productions, a nonprofit organization that has supported filmmakers with the Roy W. Dean Grant, fiscal sponsorship, education, and resources for over 30 years. Carol also teaches the Learn Producing class. Each class features an industry expert guest instructor and is designed to give the information, guidance, and support to become a successful producer. You can learn more about this class and all of From the Heart Productions offerings at FromTheHeartProductions.com.
What happens when the camera becomes conscious and your lead actor never existed? Well, today's guest takes us inside the era of filmmaking, where AI, virtual humans, and quantum computing are rewriting the script for storytellers.
Welcome to the Art of Film Funding, where we give independent filmmakers the tools, insights, and inspiration they need to bring their stories to life. I'm your co-host, Claire Papin, along with Carol Dean, president of From the Heart Productions, a nonprofit dedicated for over 30 years to helping filmmakers fund their films, finish their films, and get them out into the world. Today's episode takes us into the future, a future that is arriving faster than any of us expected. What happens when the camera becomes conscious and your lead actor never existed? What happens when story moves beyond the screen and into spatial worlds, virtual humans, and generative intelligence that can collaborate with you, sometimes in ways that feel almost magical? Our guest today has not only witnessed these shifts, he has shaped them. But before we dive in, I want to remind our listeners at From the Heart Productions, our mission is to elevate independent filmmakers. Through our Roy W. Dean grants, fiscal sponsorship, and our new membership avenues, we help creative storytellers find the funding and support they need, no matter what changes are happening in the industry. And change is certainly here. So with that, let's step into the next era of filmmaking, an era Scott Billups calls post-cinema. Scott Billups is an award-winning cinematographer and visual effects creator who has worked on over 50 motion pictures. As a world leader in the creation of virtual characters for movies and games, Scott went back to school in his 40s to study AI as a way to breathe life into his inanimate creations. Armed with an entirely new tool set, Scott was Apple's first evangelist to Hollywood, co-founder of the AFI Media Lab, CTO of the game industry's leading supplier of AI, founder of an AI healthcare company that created the first personalized virtual clinician on the IBM Watson health platform, and developer of an AI-robotic eldercare pilot program for the National Institutes of Health. Scott currently resides in Port Hueneme, California, and is the author of the new book, Post-Cinema, The Age of AI. And Carol, I'm turning this over to you now.
Okay, Claire, thank you. And Scott, we're really happy to have you with us.
Oh, glad to be here, Carol.
Well, you've been inside the machine. So you can share one moment in your career where you realized the film was shifting from digital to what you call post-cinema?
Yeah, I guess this happened back in the early days of digital, but it might as well have been yesterday. I was presenting at the Directors Guild about how we resurrected Marilyn Monroe for a GTE Super Bowl commercial. And midway through my presentation, the president of the Screen Actors Guild jumped to his feet and screamed, "Scott Billups is bastardizing the industry."
Oh, no.
That was the first time I realized we weren't in Kansas anymore. Yeah. So, and keep in mind, this is Directors Guild. And Hollywood wasn't just evolving, it was pivoting into something entirely new, and everybody knew it. But here's the kicker: we did everything by the book. State approvals, DGA and SAG contracts, full crews for scanning, voice work, post production. We weren't breaking any rules. We were actually using them to prove that this technology could be legitimate. And that's when it hit me that the human was becoming data, and the control over that data was starting to slip from the hands of the collective bargaining agreement. That was the birth of post cinema. And the moment that the game isn't just changing, it's never going back.
Exactly. It's not going back. And in fact, every week it gets better and better. It's shocking what it can do. So thank you for noticing this early on, because it's really important for filmmakers to realize that this is not going away, and we have to keep up with changes in our craft. And that's how we have to look at it. So in your brilliant book, Post Cinema, The Age of AI, you talk about AI generated characters and worlds. So, how far are we from a film where the majority of the cast and the crew are artificial intelligences? And what does that mean for human storytellers?
Well, we're already there. Uh, Walking with Dinosaurs, thousands of AI cognizant CG characters that stayed out of each other's way and followed direction. They were AI actors. But more recently, I just finished a documentary for an Oscar-winning producer where the sets, the scenes, and even the interviewees were entirely AI generated, but they were based on real people. And the real people saw their Hey Gen doubles and their 11 Labs voice clones and said, "Hell yeah, let the digital me do it." Because it was the personified version of themselves, and they knew they couldn't keep up with it, I guess. But it's pretty spectacular when you see yourself um, done as a avatar that's really photoreal and able to articulate ideas, better than you can. So it's and the real kicker here is that nobody ever asked if it was AI. As long as it feels real and the audience doesn't care if your actor is pixels or oxygen. So a fully synthetic narrative feature is still maybe a few years out, but it's not because the tech can't do it. I mean, the tech's flipping cartwheels, but because the audiences are really still tied to flesh and blood actors and all that messy chaos. And Hollywood runs on talent and tabloids, so you can't. AI still has yet to duplicate that phenomenon. So what's left for the human storytellers is evolving. AI can build worlds and populate the cast, but the emotional spine, the thing that people actually care about, still requires a human, and at least until AI learns how to have a midlife crisis.
Great. Can you tell us the name of that documentary? That's record breaking.
It's hasn't been announced yet, but when it is, we won't mention that it's AI. So let's not bring that into the conversation.
Hey, well,
That's the whole power behind AI. Just it's another tool, and as long as it's not treated as something other than that, it shouldn't be part of the conversation.
Okay. Well, I've heard of 11 labs, and
Uh-huh.
you like them. Did you have a good uh, film by using 11 labs that you think they're worthwhile?
Oh my goodness. Yeah. Yeah. 11 Labs are uh, by far the leader in the industry. Adobe had a really good um, voice cloner, but they were just too paranoid about the legalities involved. And it just took somebody with some cojones to get out there and do it and just let the chips fall where they may. And they've handled the whole process so well. They've legitimized it really. And the quality of their clone is, it's imperceptible.
So, what did you do for the a clone? I mean, what program did you use on that?
Well, again, that's, same issues with, reproducing people. There's a lot of people out there with darts just looking for a target. And it's a company called HeyGen. Uh, there's a couple companies that make lifelike avatars or digital doubles. And my personal favorite is HeyGen. They've been around a while. Again, they had the cojones to get out there in front and just do it, and you know, deal with the backside. And surprisingly, uh, to everyone, really, there was no backside. There was no. There's so many people adapted to this that there really was no pushback, other than journalistic or people that don't understand what's going on or people that just have an attitude or an opinion because they can. But for people that are actually working in this industry, they see the value of this and look for the quality suppliers. And HeyGen double with a 11 Labs voice, and you can't tell the difference anymore.
This is incredible.
Seriously,
Do
yeah.
you spell that HAGEN?
It's HEY capital GEN, HeyGen.
Okay.
And keep in mind that there's a lot of there's a lot of companies doing this, but they're not cheap when you get into the professional end of it. But it's definitely worth it. Um, yeah.
I think that that's brilliant. Thank you so much for that. I'm in shock. I can't wait to see the first documentary. I hope you notice.
It's not the first. We've been doing it for a while. And the thing that really uh, brings it home for me is, back in 1989, I took Marlon Brando up to Monterey and scanned him into this uh, cyberware computer. Now, this is the same system that Jim Cameron used. In fact, that's how I found out about it. Uh, Jim Cameron used to scan the face of Marianne Antonio for The Abyss, for that water pseudopod thing. And
Yes.
then I did Marlon and created a photoreal human. And then he came back and did Terminator, and next thing you know, scanning humans and creating, that was the pipeline. And so I just followed his pipeline, but we've been making photoreal humans for years. It just took a lot more money and time and effort. It took 2 years to get that Marlin so that it was working good. And by that time, the producers didn't want to know anything about it. They were all pissed off. Excuse my language. They were all mad at the time it took, and we were surprised at the time it took. And by the time we got to resurrecting Maryland, well, that took months. So we went in about 5 years, from years to get something done to months to get something done. And now it's instant. So that's the curve.
Oh, wow.
That's the curve.
So we're really full, all in now.
That's it. It's all over.
Okay, so for an independent filmmaker with limited budget, what are 2 or 3 AI tools that you would recommend for them to learn right now to stay competitive?
Uh, well, here again, things are changing. And the real power of generative AI isn't a single tool. It's in the aggregators, these companies that stitch a dozen apps into one seamless workflow. So, um, something that might have like, well, for instance, uh, they have a photo generator
Oh,
that gives you sets and backgrounds. They have maybe uh, generative CG program that gives you houses and 3D buildings that virtual actors can interact with. It might have something like Sora that does video. And can combine. You can give it 1 frame, 2 frames, a start frame and an end frame, and it'll actually build the scene in between. Um, and and then you have like voice cloning. So you'd have 11 labs in there, and for your characters, you'd use HeyGen. So you can see how many different applications you can build into that pipeline. And if you're paying the subscription fees, professional subscription fees on 20 different programs, that's going to be a couple $1,000s a month, easy, right?
yes.
And plus you've got to manage all that if you're using them individually. But these aggregators, I use a company called Artlist. I don't mean to plug them, but in fact, it's better if I don't, because then people won't, crowd the pipeline. But there's a lot of them out there. Artlist is one, and they have more than a dozen. I think about 20 different leading generative they just got Banana, which is fantastic. Um, but so now you just have one bill at the end of each month, and it's a lot more manageable by at least the decimal place.
Okay,
So
so
that's
Lift, you go to Art Lift and then you put together the programs you want, like 11 labs and whatever else, and you pay one person and they give you everything.
yep.
Well,
Well, you don't even have to put it together. Just they've got everything. They've built a, a user interface, a GUI that actually incorporates all the different applications. So uh, you don't even have to know anything about uh, AI generative art to use an art. It's called Art List, and you really don't have to know anything other than how to type. And just
I should,
it's all command line.
oh, how wonderful. Filmmakers
Yeah.
will thank you so much. Okay, so now the next question is, teach us how do you learn to prompt a computer? Because I use like ChatGPT and I'll get something, then my marketing manager will put the same thing in ChatGPT and get something better. So obviously he's better at prompting.
Yeah. Well, prompting is the ticket. I mean, that prompting is the new language. It's just like learning German or Japanese. It's a new language, and you have to learn how to um, get to the ground truth of what it is you want. You're talking to a machine, so it really doesn't have an emotional spine to the discussion. It has limits and blocks and structure, and you need to just learn what the elements of that language are. And so there's a lot of ways you can learn it. Hunt and miss, hit and miss is one. Just sit down and do it is another. There's dozens of online classes. MIT has a full spectrum of classes in their edX program. That's small e, small d, big X. Um, the Microsoft series is, very popular, free. So more than that, Gemini 3.0 now has vibe coding. So vibe coding is just it actually does this computer scripting as well. And you just say what you want something to do. So for a screenwriter, obviously, the game industry is the major influence now in media, because of the interactivity and so forth. And so to get a result to make a script relevant to a future where spatial media and bespoke entertainment and you know uh, user authorship is trending. You have to code a bit, and this vibe coding from Gemini 3 just gets it all into a prompt structure. So it's again not uh, obscure at all. It's just straightforward coding, and adaptable to the person that's actually doing the prompting, regardless of their uh, ability to deal with computers and their computer finesse and knowledge. So it's just uh, sit down and do it. There's just no better way to say it.
This is
There's nothing secret to it at all.
so it's become more friendly, more human friendly, and it's not as frightening, I guess.
You put it very well. It's AI doing what AI is supposed to do. AI is supposed to make it easy to deal with. If AI isn't easy to deal with, it's not good AI.
Wow, that's a great statement. Okay, I'll remember that. You have a fabulous book. In
Thank
post,
you.
you discuss the chain of production being overturned by algorithms. So, what does this mean for film funding and distribution strategies?
Well, algorithms are tearing the chain of production apart. So, suddenly indie filmmakers aren't begging at studio gates. They're pitching to niche audiences. Niche audiences are, showing up everywhere, crowdfunding brands and alliances that didn't exist 10 years ago. And the best part is that production costs are dropping so fast. Like this documentary just did. I mean, seriously, we could have done this on the free version of most of these uh, apps that we used. Um, it's the prices are dropping so fast that self-funding is becoming the new black. It's forget the old gatekeepers. Algorithms can put your film in front of the exact people who will care about what your content is. So basically, the little guy can play the big game if they know the cheat codes.
Okay, now that's really important for independent filmmakers that algorithms can put in front of you your audience. Tell us how they would be able to find an audience. Let's say you had a film about horses.
Sure. Okay. So you sit down to Chat GPT and say, I got a film about horses. You just type that. And it goes, that's nice. Where's my market? And it's going to tell you where your market is. It's going to tell you where your market is better than any advertising agency or marketing agency on Wall Street. Period. That's it. That's who your market is. So now you say, this is nice. How do I address them? That's your prompt. That's all you need to do. Boom. And it'll give you another printout of things you can do, you know, best practices. And that's what, generative AI is heading towards. It gets easier to use every day. And so if you're having a problem with interfacing with AI, it's because you're using old AI. Just, you got to upgrade it every, once a week. If you're not upgrading once a week, you're using old AI because it's moving so fast. I mean, it's obviously, it's going to take over the world because, last time we had a chance to even think about controlling it was back in 2016. And now, different companies, they have to just, everybody's got their foot on the accelerator because nobody can slow down. I mean, you know, Google can't slow down because Microsoft won't, and Microsoft can't slow down because Anthropic won't slow down, and you know, nobody's going to slow down because China's just, you know, got the
Ahead of,
turbochargers on.
yes, yes, China really is into that. What
Oh, I
I,
just got back from there. Just it's crazy.
oh, tell us, tell us.
Um, well, the first of all, you've got a lot more government support, although we are getting into that. You know, it's the only way that you know we can keep it up. Um, and the government support is huge on this. They have their robots are, you know, everywhere, but they've been doing this for a long time now. They've had a long history of robotic development, and it's just now that you know the anthropomorphic robots are really taking the lead. That's the human shaped robots, and it makes a lot of sense because when you're in a factory environment, you know, does the robot shape the form factor of the robot really doesn't matter so much because it's a factory and it just does what you know it's shaped like what it does. But in human accessible robots, you know, service robots and so forth, they need to be anthropomorphic because they need to work in a world designed for humans. And we have a shape that everything from, you know, cars to doorways to stairs to, you know, cutlery, kitchen cutlery. I mean, everything is designed for humans and our appendages.
Yeah,
So for a robot to be efficient, it needs to echo that design metaphor. That makes sense?
yes, right.
There you go. That's it. So anybody that doesn't get why they're making robots to look like humans, that's why. Because it's foolish not to.
I read about a man who worked for Google, and he said on his way to his office every day, he walked by a window where there was a room and they were trying to teach robots how to pick up a yellow ball. That was the game. And so this went on for 2 years. And the day that the robot picked up the yellow ball, he was in shock. And he said that did it for him. He got out of the business because he said, this is going to take over everything.
Yep. Well, yeah. I'm a huge AI robot fan. So, I mean, um, I was the CTO of a AI company that created AI cognizance modules for the game industry.
Uh-huh.
So that allows you to talk with your characters and it helps the characters talk with you and be interested in what you're doing and you know tell you when to duck in first person shooters and you know which car to steal in Grand Theft Auto and you know da 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 da. So um, this company SoftBank, who's a little company, no, they're a huge company actually, but they don't really get a lot of press, but they're probably the biggest robot manufacturer in the world because they own Boston Dynamics and they own a lot of the pipeline that creates robots and robotics. And they had this little robot. We're going back, you know, a decade almost, and they had this little robot called the Pepper, and it was the most fantastic little robot. You just fell in love with this thing. It had full matching humanoid physiology above the waist, and then it was on these little rollers, which was a great combination. So um, when you become bipedal, that's a whole level of difficulty. But you know, something can be a wheel based or you know tread based. It's much easier just to concentrate on the interaction and the technology rather than the logistics of mechanical bipedalism. Um, but this little robot, this Pepper robot, they sent sent us one of these things to upgrade the cognizance. We had a Sentio cognizance engine that was a universal brain cognizance that could be stuck into just about any game engine based environment. And so SoftBank asked us to upgrade their Pepper robot with our cognizance engine. And when we did, it turned into a person. And that's it. It's, no caveats needed. And, it carried on conversations like a person. And so we prototyped this eldercare, robotic eldercare program for National Institutes of Health. And it's just, the technology moves really fast. And there's the medical machine out there that didn't quite see eye to eye with that kind of thing. So,
Oh,
but we have a big problem coming up. The silver tsunami. There's more old people every day, and there's fewer people to take care of them every day. So, that's a crisis, and robots are the only solution for that. And there's a lot of pending crises that robots are the solution to. So it's not whether people like them or don't like them. They're coming, whether you like them or not. And they are another breed of human, of people, I should say. And
this makes, thank you. My gosh, you know so much. And our filmmakers will love you for sharing all this information. But let me go back to my questions about like virtual actors and digital people. So how do you see rights, ownership, and compensation evolving when your lead actor might be a generative model, not a being?
oh yeah, I've been dealing with this for years. Marlon, Marilyn, the whole thing. The solution is simple. You sit down with an agent or an estate lawyer and you strike a professional agreement. That's it. There's no magic, no secret sauce. It's just professionals doing what professionals do. Now you got unions and guilds, and everybody's got, gets up in arms because nobody really understands this outside of the people that are doing it. So if you're an executive at some guild or some company that's, crossed interests, you got to rant about it, but that's about it. There's no secret sauce. Just professionals doing what professionals do. Everything else is hot air. So there's really no math or mystery to it. Compensation is, pretty straightforward. It's just business. And case in point, last month, Matthew McConaughey and Michael Caine both signed deals with 11 labs to clone their voices. There you go.
Yes, I saw that. So basically,
Okay.
what does that mean to all of us?
That's how it works. They're coming. It's business as usual. Uh, there's many more people that are doing that. Likenesses are the same thing. I just sat in on I was asked to sit in on the dealing for 3 celebrities that are having themselves cloned that will be available for use in your movie or a commercial or whatever you want. And the clones are damn good. They're just really, really good.
Oh,
And because let's say you're an actor,
yeah.
okay, you're never going to look better than you look today. So today is a good day to get a clone made. Period. I mean, that's just logic. And even if you don't market it now, put it in a shelf, put it in a hard drive, and because everybody's going to be doing it pretty soon. And again, you're never going to look better than you look today. So the logic is just so solid that you can't argue it.
Yes. Well, let me go back to Matthew McConaughey. could you go to 11 Labs and buy his voice to go in a documentary, for example?
Hold on just a second. I'm at my computer. I'm just going to go to 11 Labs and see if we can get it.
Okay,
Bear with me.
sure.
There we go. There's 11 Labs. Let me see. Voices. Hey, okay, you ready for this?
What?
License. Oh, there he is. Okay, so wow, they're going to be doing a bunch of them. Um, and let me see. So they've got quite. Oh, here they just got Dorothy from Wizard of Oz.
Oh my
There's,
God.
oh, you should see. Just go to 11 Labs. It's 11labs.io.
Okay.
And so anybody listening, there you go. And right at the top, there's Michael Caine, and there's, oh, wow, that looks like, oh, yeah, they've got a lot of people. So Alan Turing, Lana Turner, oh my goodness. So I think that Betty Page, Art Garfunkel, Amelia Earhart, Sir Lawrence Olivier. Oh, let's see what he sounds like. Did you get that?
No, do it
Oh,
again.
let me see. I'm trying to figure out how we can get this. Oh, Maya Angelou. Oh, I bet that's a great voice. Hold on.
Yes.
Oh, they nailed her. Oh my goodness. John Wayne.
No.
That was cracking me up. Okay, so Lisa Minnelli. I'm sorry. Wow. I'm sorry. It's not for some reason. It's not making it through to our pipeline here. So, but it's 11labs.io, and just go to voices, and you have their standard voices. You can clone your own voice, and then you have your own voice catalogs, and then it'll have this new legendary voices catalog. So there you go. I think that answers that.
Wow. Thank you. That's a lot of information. Great. Well, in your book, Post Cinema, The Age of AI, you mentioned quantum AI, spatial computing, and brain computer interfaces in the book. So, which of these technologies do you believe will impact film production first and why?
Ooh. Well, of the three, brain computer interfaces are already landing the first punches. So it's not when, it's already happening. And then you've got on the market, you've got things like, well, the Meta wristband is reading your nerve impulses and steering your AR glasses like a psychic TV remote. So that's, already there. But, the truth is, once quantum computing enters the mix, everything we're doing today is going to look like we're banging rocks together. So it's already happening.
Gosh, how amazing. Okay. Uh, the next question is if the filmmakers ignore the implication of post cinema and continue to work in the old system, what risk are they running?
Well, it's always going to be there. It's not going anywhere. Um, so the risk is what I call the reverse hockey stick of relevance. Technology rarely replaces anything. It just keeps adding options. So, people still ride horses, but they don't win the race. So if you stay in the old system, you're basically showing up at the Indy 500 on a pony. Um, you know, Filmmaking is still going to be around. It's going to be a niche. People still shooting black and white. Um, you know, Retro filmmaking is a niche, and this is so now modern filmmaking is going to become another niche.
It's
It's not
another
gonna,
need.
yeah, it's not going to be called modern filmmaking. It'll be called digital filmmaking maybe or something. I don't know. Maybe they'll come up with a cute word for it.
Okay. Well, let me ask you, what do you think is the opposite side for those? Because on the flip side, what new opportunities are emerging for storytellers who embrace post cinema?
Yeah, this is the big one. It's well, so Hollywood spent 25 years fighting AI. The game industry has spent the same 25 years developing it. So who do you think is going to win?
Yeah, right.
Right?
Of course.
So yeah, I mean, we got spatial media, spoken entertainment. There's a lot of stuff coming down the line that just doesn't fit into Hollywood metaphor. So here's the real shift for storytellers. It's script writing itself is changing. Interactivity, spatial media, bespoke entertainment, they all just demand scripts that move more like prompts. And prompts are ruthless. As I said before, they force you to articulate the ground truth of your vision. And ground truth is, if that's not in your vocabulary, that's a computer AI computer word. And ground truth is the most important word to learn in AI because that's what it's based on. And when you're forced to articulate that, it's a direct line between human intention and machine interpretation. And it strips away all the comforting patinas of pretext. So bad prompt, bad result, garbage in, garbage out. So AI might hand you something gorgeous to look at or words that sound poetic, but once the machine is done showing off, what's left. As the game pipeline becomes a new engine of production, everything that comes back to that, the prompt and the agency behind it. So, it's not participation, it's authorship that's really going to be the main concern here.
Authorship. Okay. Well, finally, if you could leave one takeaway for filmmakers on how to position themselves for success in the age of AI, what would that be?
Ah, um, hmm. Well, they need to learn the new lingo.
Right.
That would be trying to think what a good example of that. So it's the shift in script writing. It really starts with the shift in screenwriting, I would say. Um, and then it's also investors needs to stop asking how much AI does it use and start asking whose hands it's in. Because if a project looks or feels like CG, you're not dealing with a visionary, you're dealing with a hobbyist. And so there's this old rule in cinema that
Yes.
that uh, the illusion only works when you forget it's there.
Oh my gosh, that's so true.
Yeah, I mean, back the Lumiere brothers terrified an audience when they projected on a wall this train pulling into the station, and people jumped up and ran out of the theater.
Yes.
It, it hasn't changed since then. That's all. That's all you're doing. And so if you can't do that with AI, yeah, it can't be done. So um, that would be probably, just stay focused on that.
Stay
Um,
on that. Yes. Because it is illusion, so your audio has to be perfect, your visuals perfect. You just have to maintain your skills from the normal filmmaking and learn AI to improve them. Look at AI as an improvement.
yeah. And so since it all starts with the script,
Yes.
the screenwriter needs to embrace a new grammar. A wide shot isn't just an establishment. It's an invitation to explore, right?
Yes.
Spatial media, okay? And framing isn't where the director points the camera anymore. It's where the viewer chooses to look. But perhaps most importantly, story beats aren't fixed moments on a timeline. They're events that wait for you to arrive.
Oh, yes,
Can you
great.
feel that shift? So
Yes.
so in this new grammar, characters stop performing for you and start reacting to you. A close-up is an emotion. It's the story looking back at you. And this shift in understanding and meaning, uh, if you get it, you're not ahead of the curve. You're actually shaping the new one.
Wow, how brilliant. Scott, thank you. This has been an incredible amount of information for independent filmmakers. Thank you for sharing all this, and thank you for writing this incredible book, because they're going to learn the language of AI by reading your book, Scott.
Yeah, yeah. So that's kind of what it's about.
Well, thank you very much for taking us behind the curtain of post cinema. I really recommend your book to all of our listeners. I found it to be incredibly simple to understand and full of great ideas. So your vision helps us understand not just where filmmaking is going, but how we creators can step forward with courage, curiosity, and a sense of possibility. That's the key. So, if to our listeners today, if you enjoyed this conversation, please check out From the Heart Productions online, because we're here to champion your voice and support your journey. So, whether you're developing your first script or creative immersive AI driven worlds, or finishing a documentary with an urgent message, our Roy Dean Film Grants, the fiscal sponsorship, the film funding classes, and the filmmaker community are all designed to empower you. And we believe that film changes lives and filmmakers change the world. So you can learn more about our grants and sponsorships at FromTheHeartProductions.com. Thank you for joining us. Keep creating, keep innovating, and above all, keep believing in your vision. And we'll see you next time on The Art of Film Funding.
Now, in its second edition, Carol Dean's popular book, The Art of Film Funding, has 12 new chapters to cover all areas of film financing and how to avoid expensive pitfalls. Learn how to start with an idea and end with a trailer, how to make an ask for money, create your story structure and your trailer, legal advice, fair use, successful crowdfunding, how to ask for music rights, and what insurance you can't shoot without. Available on Amazon under Carol Dean and at FromTheHeartProductions.com. I want to remind our listeners that David Raiklin is a brilliant and talented award-winning musician who scores films and can compose music for a trio or for a full orchestra. David is a very good friend to the independent filmmaker and comes highly recommended by From the Heart Productions. If you need music to help tell your story, please contact him at davidraiklin.com. That's David, RAIKLEN.com. And Carol and I want to thank you for tuning in to The Art of Film Funding. Please visit our website at FromTheHeartProductions.com. You can also find us on Facebook and Twitter. Good luck with your films, everyone.